He doesn't understand that he's the one who has the power to stop it. He simply can't imagine that one little boy could be that important.
Is it really me? Maybe he doesn't know what he has to do! What do I have to do?
He has to give me a new name. He's already chosen it. He just has to call it out.
But it's only a story. It's not real. It's only a story. Atreyu, no! Atreyu!
That was a clip from The Never-Ending Story, one of my favorite
The
movies.
Never-Ending
I know. It's such a
My
good
life.
movie. It's the second.
Can I be your Falcor?
Can I be your Atreyu?
What's a Falcor?
It's
Oh, the
luck
big
dragon.
white dog. Yeah, the big white dog.
That
What
looks
show?
like our dog.
What show is this?
The Never-Ending Story.
Oh.
The second most hilarious thing to come out of Germany since, the Third Reich. Anyway, we're starting on a dark note tonight.
Shout out to Germany.
This is Movies the
For
Podcast.
German fans.
I just learned something though. I didn't know the never-ending story was from Germany.
She didn't know the Third
Wolfgang
Reich was
Peterson.
German.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Did you want to know why everything was so white?
What's the topic this week, Jordan?
The topic this week on Movies
It's
the
white
Podcast.
people.
And by the way, I'm Jordan.
I was Curtis.
I'm Rob.
Bitches, get off your phone.
This is
Jesus
Brenda.
Christ.
I'm playing with a bracelet.
Get your life
Wait,
right,
we got one
people.
doing like arts and crafts and the other one Facebooking over here. And by the way, this is Dan.
Rob's rolling a joint that's
I
not
need to
arts
say
and crafts.
something. I need to say something.
Say something,
Dan's
Jordan.
on
fire.
Say nothing.
I'm on fire tonight.
Say
I
everything.
said Dan's on fire.
My face is almost moving.
The flames on the side of my face.
When everyone else hosts, we're so structured and focused, but it just goes to shit.
Oh.
And then they take 10 minutes off my allotted time.
You're down to 5 minutes.
Whatever. So, on this very cheery and happy note, we're going to talk tonight about movies that touched us as children. Hopefully, it wasn't the only thing that touched us as children, but we'll talk about that momentarily.
Who's the Tobias of this group?
Who basically...
Oh my God, Jordan's the Lindsay.
You know what?
You'll take it.
I was assaulted by my uncle wearing a Garfield mask. That's hard to come back from.
Is that why you eat lasagna?
Basically, and a lot of it. But before we get into our topic, and hopefully get this
You
out of our
set that
system,
one up. You set it up.
I set it all up.
Okay, sorry. It's out of my system. It's out of my system.
What have you guys been up to?
I took my antibiotic. I did see. I have to talk about this movie. I don't like rank my Netflix. I put stuff and they send it to me, and I'm not one of those people who's like, well, next week I want to get this. No, I just don't do that. So whatever they send me, I get excited, or I'm like, fuck, I'm sending this back. So they sent me The Descendants, which I'd never seen before. Have you seen it?
No.
It is fantastic.
I'd never wanted to see
I was
it.
so surprised. I'm not a sentimental.
Hashtag
Did you
white
send it
people
back?
problems.
Huh?
You didn't send it back, did you?
No.
Okay.
I'm not a sentimental movie person. I don't care if it ends happy. I don't care if it's cheery or funny. I was so touched by this movie. Like, it's... Has anyone seen it?
No.
I put it off for so long, and I don't know why Jean Dujardin even won the Oscar if he was against George Clooney, because George Clooney, he plays a man. It happens very quick in the movie that his wife gets put in a coma, and the daughter comes home from, I think, a boarding school where she's kind of a drunk, and the dad says, you need to get over this fight with your mother. You need to forgive her. She's going to die. And she says, Mom's been cheating on you. And so it's sort of, he sets off on the rest of this movie, not on a vengeance, not on like, I'm going to find this guy and, tell him what's up, to tell the man that she's cheating with, that she loved, to say she's dying. So if you want to go see her, if you really love her, go see her before she dies. That's all the movie's about, is him doing that. And it was such a weird, selfless thing that it totally throws you off. And the daughter's the one who is like, there's this scene where they meet the man she's sleeping with, and she's like, do you like fucking my mom? Do you like fucking my mom behind my dad's back? And like, it's funny.
Like a shit talker.
She's just like a little shit talker.
Oh my God.
And so it was not sentimental, but it was sweet, and it was just so touching.
I don't know why I was discouraged from watching it. I like Alexander Payne. I've watched all
Because
his
the
films.
trailer made it look like it was just white people
It's not-
talking about problems in their mansion.
Yes.
We're all so
But
sad
they're
in
not
Hawaii.
white. It's a weird thing, and
Not
it's
white?
funny you say that, because the very first line of dialogue in the movie is, everyone thinks that Hawaii is just this vacation town to live in. He goes, but there's hospitals here. There's face mask, and it shows his wife in the hospital. He's like, "There's sick people here. Everything here is everywhere else." And so that's how he started the movie. It's funny you say that
Okay.
to kind of throw you off.
I'm gonna have to check it out.
I'm not kidding. It's
If the movie put Jordan in his place, I'll watch it.
no, it made me because he's not doing it. It's the movie that's doing it.
It's, you know what?
It's life.
If he has to rely on a movie to do it because he can't do it himself, then
I'm not as witty as
But
Curtis.
I do really recommend.
no one's
it.
as witty as Curtis.
I do-
Not even Curtis is as witty as Curtis.
It depends
No,
on the
Curtis
day.
is almost as witty as he is in his own mind.
I think I'm the funniest person I know.
Just think about the things he doesn't say, the
Oh,
things he
shit.
chooses not to say.
I am fairly tactful, but I do recommend it. I don't think I'm overselling it by saying it's as fantastic as it is. I really think it's that good.
It won the Oscar that year for Best Original Screenplay, didn't it?
Best adapted. It's a book.
Oh.
It's a I don't know if it's a true story, but the Shailene Woodley's amazing in it.
I'm gonna have to check. This is a movie
Seriously,
I never planned to
If
ever
you have
see.
HBO Go, do you have HBO Go?
It's on
on
there?
your HBO Go.
I had no interest in seeing it either.
I was sober and I still was like, I was still crying, you know. And
I
was
looked up from my Coke mirror and was like, "This is actually good shit." The movie's good too.
I really don't know why more people didn't tell me about it. But the second I posted on Facebook, all these friends are like, "I told you, we loved it." This I was like, "Geez,
That would be a great review. This film made me put down my tourniquet.
I was just about to kill
Do you
myself.
ever sometimes you're
but
having
then the
a-
Descendants started, and I said, "I'll give this 90 minutes."
do you ever have like a glass of wine?"
No. They discouraged it in my AA group.
Ladies. Do you ever have a glass of wine and sometimes you're watching something, you're like, "This is so funny," and then you're like, "No, it's not that funny. I'm drunk." Like, I need to
I
go
know
to
that
bed.
about people from when I was a drinker.
There you
I
go.
people I met after I got sober, I'd hang out with them.
Like,
I'm
you're
like,
so
"You
unattractive."
used to be so cool and hot. I wanted to sleep with you. Who the fuck are you?"
And then you guys broke up.
And then Glenn Close
Anyway,
and I never
so-
hung out again. Never.
So, anyways, that's what I watched. Rent it, bitches.
What else have you guys been up to? Anything else? Anything fun?
My boyfriend and I just started watching the new season of Face Off. Anybody watch that?
Is this based on the
getting
Nick
a phone
Cage
call.
film?
No. It's a really nerdy, and I don't understand how my boyfriend loves it, but it's a fun show it's a makeup competition. The whole show's a makeup competition.
Now I know why.
It's on a Sci-Fi Channel.
There's the missing piece. There's the missing piece.
No, it's not like supermodels, which he also
It's for
watches.
drag
that.
queens.
Oh, okay. Now more missing pieces, extra pieces of the puzzle.
What?
That's so funny.
So Face Off is on a network of some
Yes,
kind?
it's
Sci-fi.
sci-fi. It's on its 5th season, I think.
Is this
and-
the makeup competition?
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's like sci-fi movies and makeup and stuff like that.
Yeah, they do a competition where this challenge, the first challenge that we watched
I
was
think I saw the commercial.
you
for
have to
this.
create 5 different. You have to create a faun, a troll, a witch. I forgot what
Oh, so it's
else.
The View.
I was gonna go with something like that. I said it's me when I wake up.
Speaking of Jenny McCarthy, fuck you.
She starts on Monday.
Fuck her.
I'm excited.
Back on topic.
That's what I've been watching.
Brenda.
I recently saw it was Oscar nominated for Best Foreign Language Film. I watched Kon-Tiki.
How was it?
I liked it. I watched it.
Wait, was it subtitled or?
No, I watched the English version. That's I know it was the one that was available at the time. It was a good film, but yeah, I generally I have to agree with Curtis. I don't generally like watching foreign films in English or dubbed or anything. It kind of takes me right out of the film. I actually prefer to watch it in its native language. But it is a good film. I wouldn't even mind rewatching it if I was able to find it in Norwegian.
Now is that an Almodovar film?
No, it's not.
Since that's all we watch is when it comes to foreign films.
I don't know about you Spanish speakers.
I still want to see it. Like aside from it being dubbed.
No, it wasn't dubbed. They actually filmed it simultaneously because they speak English as well. They filmed their scenes in Norwegian and then they filmed it in English. So there's actually 2 versions of the film.
Really?
Oh, like Angelina did that with her film.
Land of Blood and Honey.
Yeah.
I don't think either language could have saved it. That
Did
film.
you see it?
It was okay in Land of Blood and Honey.
You're so mean. Is it because no one got raped, like in Dogville?
Actually, somebody did.
Oh.
What is it? Name a movie where no one gets raped. Quick.
Bridges of Madison County.
No.
The Abyss.
The viewer got raped.
Short Circuit.
Ali Sheedy's career got raped.
American History X. Never mind.
God, you're making it seem that like I love rape in film now.
It's
You tend to bring it up a
but
lot.
Do
yeah.
you not love
What?
Irreversible?
Fuck ever.
Hashtag rape culture.
Hashtag
Started there.
Hashtag go fuck yourself.
Hashtag I'd rape myself.
Hashtag I have. So,
Bring it in.
on that note, well, I mean, we're going to segue really easily from rape to movies we watched as children. And
I think that says a lot about. Tell me about your childhood.
That shows you our versatility.
that's where I learned to be versatile as a child. The topic tonight that we're going to talk about is movies of our childhood. This is a topic that I wanted to do because I know that for myself as a cinephile, that I've spent my life really enjoying movies and going to movies alone and watching movies. And movies are what I do when I'm upset, and it's what I do when I'm bored, and it's what I do when I have an afternoon to kill. And I know that all of that started for a lot of us as children and as young people, watching movies and really getting into to certain actors and certain kinds of films. And I feel those films probably inform the kind of films that we like today. And some of our memories as child, I know for myself, a lot of the memories I have as a child revolve around going to the movies or watching a movie. So we just wanted to kind of put it out to our castmates tonight. Those movies that they felt as children really made an impact on them, or that they have a memory of. There's some. I think it's raining. I don't know what.
No, there's a vegan cookie.
No,
raining.
it's a condom wrapper.
Our audience is eating a roll of aluminum
Nobody
foil.
here uses condoms, Brenda.
Jeez.
I do.
don't.
No, I put them under
Can I get a slow clap for that one? Because that's never going to happen again.
I put them under the legs of furniture so they're easier to move.
Dicks.
Also dicks. But back to children. Back to childhood.
when this releases, audience, please post it to your favorite school website. To the Children's Hospital.
Well, we're
we go.
actually raising money for the Children's Miracle Network.
Somebody in a flyover state's going to see this podcast and go, "Oh, honey, we got a children's episode one. Let's play it
for the
kids."
pediatric AIDS wing.
Do not listen to this while on a road trip with the kiddos going to Mount Rushmore.
Yeah, listen to our other episode. That
Oh,
they don't
because
talk
they're also much
So
cleaner.
children's movies.
So
It's-
children's
No, movies
so-
of our youth. Let's,
So
I
movies
need
of
to-
our youth.
I'm going to regret this, but Curtis, why don't you start? What are the movies that were impactful to you as a young lady growing up in rural Oklahoma?
Well, it's funny you say that. I when I was looking at like the movies that I loved as a kid, and a lot of the movies that stood out to me, I've mentioned plenty of times, so I won't mention Basic Instinct again, because that movie did.
If I can't mention Almodovar, you can't mention.
I'm
Basic
sorry, what's
Instinct.
that cookie?
Sorry, it's
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, Brenda's got a mouthful of cookie and she's judging me. It's fine.
You had a mouthful of something else this weekend.
Hey, I did not. My sobriety coach listens to this.
So Curtis, we are completely out of control, people. But I'm going to bring this in
Thank
for a
you,
later.
Jordan,
We're
please.
going to get back on track.
Please. Okay.
We
I'll
are-
go through them quick then.
Just
Okay.
start speaking.
Okay,
please.
so the one that made my family grew me up on Terms of Endearment. I didn't realize
yeah.
that was my mom and my grandma, and I didn't realize that'd become me and my mom.
It is after 10. Give my daughter the pain shot, please.
Mrs. Greenway, I was going to.
Oh, good. Go ahead.
In just a few minutes.
Well, please, it's after 10. It's after 10. I don't see why she has to have this pain.
Ma'am, it's not my patient.
It's time for her shot. You understand? Do something. All she has to do is hold out until 10. And it's past 10. She's in pain. My daughter is in pain. Give her the shot. Do you understand?
You're
me?
going to behave.
Give my daughter the shot. Thank you very much.
Unfortunately, all the women in my family become Shirley MacLaine. So
is that a bad thing?
So that's who I'm going to be. I took Rob, near where we record is the house from Terms of Endearment. I took Rob by it last time. It looks so small.
I think I'm going to end up as Bob Newhart to your Shirley MacLaine.
No, you're my Danny DeVito.
Mexican Danny DeVito.
Yeah, you're not my Jack Nicholson. So that obviously had a real impact because we watched it so much, and it came out the year I was born, and I live in Houston now, so the movie, it really, really does have a lot of sentimental effect to me. Same thing as Radio Flyer. For anyone who's seen the movie, you may understand a little bit more about me after seeing it, but it's not a happy film.
No.
But it's a great film.
It's a fantastic
beautiful film.
I don't know who directed it. I don't know who wrote it. I don't even know who's in it. Lorraine Bracco.
Yeah,
Yes.
she's in it.
But I know I
Elijah
liked it.
Wood.
Oh, it's Elijah Wood one of the kids?
Elijah Wood.
I know it had a
and,
lot of effect on me.
Elijah Wood and Joseph Mazzello, the little kid from Jurassic Park. Yeah.
He grew up to look kind of weird.
He's in Social Network.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, he's the gay one that founds Facebook.
Yeah.
He's real. And then obviously I cried my way through T2 when my parents were getting a divorce because, you know, the father figure's leaving. He's like, I gotta go. And the kid's like, whoa, and I was like bawling and people were looking at me like, why is your kid crying in Terminator 2?
It's called displacement, motherfuckers. Get away from me.
If only I was articulate as you as that age. What if Jordan was your imaginary friend telling you, like, tell him it's displacement? Tell him to fuck off.
That Coke's not going to snort itself.
Yeah. He did tell me that in college. But anyways, and then I think as I got older, out of necessity, and I was just talking about this weekend, I lived on a farm, and the environment there was a little more religious, and parents were suggested their kids shouldn't watch anything over a PG rating. So I found old movies that way. And I remember my aunt would take me to the library, and I could rent VHSs, and one of the first ones I got was Hush Hush Sweet Charlotte, which is fun because I just rewatched it. And it's a Louisiana movie. And I got into old movies that way. So thank goodness, out of necessity, I couldn't watch anything more than PG. I found
the opposite.
Oh, were your parents? No, see, when I was a kid.
Big surprise.
Yeah, when I was a kid, my parents, anyone who grew up with me will stand behind this. My parents let us watch whatever we wanted. They did not care. My dad let me watch The Exorcist, Pet Sematary, Working Girl. I mean, my parents were like, whatever. But then as we got older, certain life situations, my mom got married, we lived in a conservative household all of a sudden. And so out of necessity. But it was so great because I got to find old movies. I got to find Bette Davis. And it really proved to me that I was gay. So I'm glad I knew it then. Yeah.
You got that out of it.
So grateful. But I am grateful for anything before the 60s. It's all they have in Oklahoma. So I got to watch all those.
And Rob?
Oh, it's my turn? Well, I'm going to let Brenda go since she wanted
What did you watch as a kid in Mexico?
Did you have television in your village?
Well, actually,
I had to sit on roofs and watch it at the drive-in.
Brenda,
across the river.
Once a week, he had to hold up the
antennas.
Yes, the coat hanger.
Brenda loved The Accused as a child, and
whatever. It's not my fault. You had to watch pussy shit. Actually, my experience is kind of different from yours. Yeah, my mom remarried when I was about 7 or 8, and my stepdad would take us my sister and I, to the rental store and just kind of, both of them would let us watch whatever. Like I remember at one point we rented the piano. And
I loved it when I was a kid. It didn't make any sense.
He rented Faces of Death. It was like, you guys got to see this. But
like your mom.
I'm starting to understand why we are the way we are.
Yeah, I was gonna say with you,
This
what your
podcast
comment
is telling.
when your comment earlier about the movies that made us cinephiles, we are the way we are because of watching movies like this.
Yeah.
yeah, I did bring it up before, but I just do want to touch on it. No, it's not Almodovar. or Basic
But you're going to
Instinct.
touch on it.
It's the first film I think I remember seeing in the theater. I'm pretty sure I went beforehand, but I was like 5 when it came out. It's the original Hairspray with John Waters. And my dad took me to see that. He's like a little bit, not as much, but he's a little bit more on the conservative side than, my mom and my stepdad. But that's one of the first films I remember watching in the theater. But it's something...
And we'll insert the sound clip here.
No, not really. But
I like a Hairspray sound clip.
The films that I wanted to bring up that I had a lot of rewatch value that I remember and I had a lot of fun with, or stuff like Beetlejuice and Wayne's World. I think Wayne's World came out when I was 8, and it's still a film I watch and I have a lot of fun with.
Oh, I love Wayne's World.
Pause here.
Oh, I almost forgot. This year Garth finally got pubes.
You didn't tell him about my pubes, did you?
No, of course not.
Okay, since we're pausing, did anybody hear the noise?
I'm
that
sorry.
He went.
When I said Wayne's World?
And nobody called it.
When I said what?
I was breathing. I had spit in my mouth.
Okay, and
this is not a problem in Decadence.
So yeah, Wayne's World was.
I love that movie.
It's got a great soundtrack. It's so quotable, and it's funny because
what do I need a gun rack for? I have to have a gun to necessitate a rack. I think that's funny.
It was funny because my sister and I would say "schwing" for
sound
the
just like
longest, and then finally my dad explained what it meant. We would go to school and actually say "schwing." And
What year was Wayne's World? 93?
91. Yeah.
I remember it being the first movie that kids in school talked about having seen outside of school.
Oh, really?
Because I was in 7th grade or 6th. So
You were a senior.
in college. I was at Vassar. But it was the first movie I remember kids coming. Like, I guess it came out in the summer or something, because I remember everyone came back from summer and people were quoting it. And
But that's when people were really watching SNL.
And that was the first, I think, 6th or 7th grade is when you first, at least you did in the 80s and early 90s, was the year you kind of started going to the movies without your parents.
Mm-hmm.
And
that's a good point.
So that was an interesting pick, because
that's a really good point.
That's
I can really remember things around that
That's
time.
a good point about Saturday Night Live, because that's one of the things that I would do on weekends when our dad would pick us up, and we were huge fans of that era of Saturday Night Live.
Oh, I know, and it was funny too because that was the thing. I remember when I was in middle school, it was Superstar.
Oh.
The most ridiculous script.
This live studio audience thing is just not working. No wonder Carol Burnett killed herself.
She's still alive.
Like, one's ignoring us and the other one's making noise.
Dane's not ignoring us. Dane's not acknowledging
Dane's
us.
asleep.
He can hear us. He's just not.
Well, one of our audience members, I actually have it on my list, but she just reminded me of a film that it just happened to be in the house. It was like a random VHS. I don't know how it got there or how it left.
Deep Throat.
But we watched it several times. It's High Spirits.
Dare you? What's High Spirits?
Exactly. Like, I don't think not a lot of people have heard of it. It's
Who's in it?
Steve Guttenberg, Daniel Hanna.
Oh, I remember that VHS box that I would never pick up.
And then, what is his name? Peter O'Toole.
What? These people made a movie together.
Yes.
Whoa. I guess that Lawrence of Arabia money ran out at some point.
He couldn't do that
What's
forever.
it about?
These American tourists go to the UK for this, like, supposedly haunted castle.
Okay.
Peter O'Toole.
Familiar.
Peter O'Toole plays the son, and he's running it now.
Peter O'Toole's the son?
Yeah.
It's 1920.
But in reverse.
Yeah, because his parents owned it, and his dad's now dead, and so
Daryl Hannah.
So he's in charge of it. Liam Neeson's in it, and he plays a ghost.
It looks interesting.
It looks like Haunted Honeymoon.
Beverly D'Angelo.
Is she in it?
Yeah.
She's in
It looks about as good as The Princess Bride.
Oh, don't even.
Sorry.
No, but that was a VHS.
Are you hating on Princess Bride?
No, we're not going to go there.
I've never seen it.
No.
Oh, we would never.
This is a respectable podcast, and we are going
we
to
would never
stay.
hate on a film that's got Anne Hathaway. But anywho.
Does it?
She's in that?
Princess Bride, not The Princess Diaries.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry.
Did you just say Anne Hathaway and Princess Bride?
I did. I'm sorry. I was thinking Princess Diaries.
Sorry.
Yeah, so he's got a point. Don't hate on Princess
I've
Bride.
seen it. I didn't think
She
it was
played Fred Savage's grandfather.
What?
That wasn't Peter Falk. That was actually
She
Anne
shaved her
Hathaway.
head for that, too.
And then got fucked in a coffin.
Okay. Let's bring it back. Let's bring it back.
So, Rob,
Hence, it's Brenda.
when you
Sirlin.
were a young one in Guatemala, what
Mexico.
Rob's Mexican.
Like, there's a difference.
You know, Hispanic heritage.
It's like, do you live in
Month is-
Richmond? No, I'm in Rosenberg. There's really not a difference. There's a
One's
line.
Jewish.
Cut or uncut, Rob?
One of my favorites as a kid was Parenthood, and I only watched that one by mistake. Because I had asked my mom, she would go to the video store, which was / hardware store, and you know, this is how we did it in Monterrey, Mexico. And I asked her, bring me the movie with the one where the kid's holding the parents upside down. I wanted Problem Child, so I was trying to describe the artwork for the for the VHS. So she ended up bringing me Parenthood, which was Steve Martin holding the kids upside down, and I loved it.
It's a good movie.
It's still funny.
Hi, Daddy.
What's the matter, honey? You don't feel so good? You feel like you want to throw up?
Okay.
Gil. Oh my God. Oh, Taylor, baby. Oh, sweetie. Oh. Gil, why are you just standing there? Oh, sweetie.
Waiting for her head to spin around.
For the longest time, I didn't understand it, or like whenever he would go down, or they got in a car accident, and she's like, "What made you guys get in a car accident? Show him, honey." She like goes down.
Oh, Mary Steenburgen is
Mary
giving him
Steenburgen
that.
gives him head, and he rips
And
the
Diane
car, yeah.
Wiest is talking about. He's like, "Oh, maybe we saw each other at Woodstock." She's like, "Yeah, maybe I pissed on a rock next to you." Like,
Diane
there's
Wiest
some.
is cute in that. You're a little too much aware of her vagina.
That's her second Oscar nomination is for Parenthood.
Are you serious?
Yeah. She's had 3, and one of them was for Parenthood, and then she won the other 2. But yeah, so I mean, she was in her respectable moments back then.
And another one that I
She
watched
was
with
bringing the gravitas to
with my
America.
brother, and I just was what did I do?
You have to look at the mic.
Oh, Coming to America.
Maybe we'll put a picture of a dick on the microphone, then Rob will look at it
No.
and stare at it.
That's not
intently.
nice.
That's not nice.
Rob would not do that.
This is the most vulgar episode we've had as of yet.
I'm so
This is,
sorry.
you know what? Side note: this is my friends will attest that I have a sickness that whenever there are children within 15 feet of me, I will say the most disgusting things as loudly as possible. I don't even have to see the child; I just have to sense it.
So is this part of the deleted
So
scenes
I
of
think
this
this is
episode?
part. We're talking about children, so now we have to be vulgar and disgusting.
So, Rob,
Where did we bring up children? We're talking about our childhood, not necessarily children.
Well, he's thinking
We were
about his
children
childhood.
as-
Yeah.
We're talking about kids.
Well, so far we haven't really brought up, if you look at it, kids films. Like not one of us
No,
has brought up.
we didn't
like,
watch
Which
kids'
is
films.
explains a lot of why we are the way we are.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Well, I guess
Is your next one a kids movie?
I was gonna bring up Hocus Pocus, but I guess I won't.
That's an adult film. Scary. It's about witches.
It's about drag queens.
It's about drag queens and
Losing your virginity and not being able
It
to light the
is.
candle.
It is about losing your virginity.
It's about kids being made fun of for being virgins at 14.
and being eaten.
Also that.
But not in that way.
Oh shit!
Not in that special way that we all hope and dream.
Rob, tell us about Hocus Pocus.
I can't say any more about it now.
Drag queens.
It did cement me for being gay for loving that movie. Sarah Jessica Parker definitely was like, I want to be more like that hot bitch.
It's
hot
funny-
mess of a
And I
bitch.
had a little crush on Omri Katz, the little boy. Because from
Yes.
Erie, Indiana, I thought he was adorable in Erie, Indiana, and then he made Hocus Pocus.
I think it's funny we've all sort of mentioned something that made us gay, like BMX Bandits for Brenda. But there was a movie
That's the movie that truly made me aware of my big dick.
you said, I got this. But I think it's true when you grow up as a gay kid, there is that one film you kind of remember that. I mean, I know it's sarcastic, but you watch it, and for me it was Basic Instinct, and where you just go, oh my God, what is this? What is this sexuality? What is this Sarah Jessica Parker-ness?
Yes.
Jills. Rob speaking Spanish, I'm sorry.
Jeez.
You brought it out, but you brought it back in me. Out of me.
I will mention one children's film. Well, 2. Well, 5.
Aladdin.
That's funny.
Racist.
I already mentioned Sleeping Beauty, so that shouldn't
Speedy
be.
Gonzalez.
No, The Land Before Time.
Do you Which
remember
one?
The first, the original.
The original.
And didn't everyone have the stuffed animal from JCPenney's of like one of the dinosaurs?
I got the.
we all weren't born rich like you.
I had the puppets.
I shopped at JCPenney's. Oh, back then it was really
Rob
nice.
worked at a factory where they
I
made
shopped
them.
at
Oh my
Wieners.
God. That's how we know each other. It was like, it had the little
The
sticker.
circle of
Inspected by
life.
Rob. But that's a good.
Well, back then he went by number 14.
Yeah. That's,
Juicy.
that's a good animated
Número
film.
14.
Número 14. The first film that I ever saw, which I did not mention, was The Abyss. I was 5. My mother took me to see it.
Was that the first movie that you saw in the theater?
No. Yeah.
Was The Abyss?
Yeah. I remember it. I remember falling asleep. I remember waking up. I think I've mentioned this on podcast before. I remember waking up when the, I guess it was a water.
The water snake
turned into the
thing?
face.
Yeah.
I remember that. I remember being really amazed by that. James Cameron kind of litters my childhood, but I mean, if you think about it, his like mileposts, his movies, because they're so visual. As a kid, you really remember that stuff.
Rob, what was the first movie you saw in a theater?
I can't think of it. I can't remember.
Really?
It's interesting to remember. And who took you?
It might have been Stop or My Mom Will Shoot. My brother took me to that. I remember I was at the Greenspoint Mall. It was either that or Lawnmower Man. One of those two was my first one.
Well,
Such
Throw
similar
Mama-
films.
Throw Mama was late 80s. Lawnmower was early
No,
90s.
Stop
No.
for My Mom Will
Stop
Shoot.
for My Mom Will
The
Shoot.
Sylvester Stallone, Estelle Getty movie.
Yeah. Oh, you're right.
Not
They
Throw
were the
Mama
same
from the
year.
Tree,
Oh,
yeah.
gotcha.
So one of those had to have been my first one. I just remember going to that small little shitty theater.
And Brenda, what was your first movie in a theater?
Well, I brought
Do you
it
remember?
up, and then I was
It's
castigated
not about,
for
it's
it.
not about your feelings.
Was
about
it Girl
that.
with a Dragon Tattoo?
It was Grace of Monaco.
Recently.
No, but I was. I know we didn't bring up a lot of children's film, and I don't consider this a children's film, Beetlejuice, but that's another one that I loved throughout my
It's
childhood,
so
and
funny.
I ended up loving the cartoon.
Beetlejuice is still funny today.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's still funny.
It was also scored by Danny Elfman.
Are you the guys hiding out in the attic? We're ghosts.
What do you look like under there?
Aren't you scared?
I'm not scared of sheets. Are you gross under there? Are you Night of the Living Dead under there? Like all bloody veins and pus?
Night of the what?
Living Dead, it's a movie.
You know, if I had seen a ghost at your age, I would have been scared out of my wits.
You're not gross. Why are you wearing sheets?
We're practicing.
You can see us without the sheets.
Of course I can see you.
Well, how is it that you see us and nobody else can?
Well, I read through that handbook for the recently deceased. It says, live people ignore the strange and unusual. I myself am strange and unusual.
God, Danny Elfman, get out of my movie. Danny Elfman's scores are all the same.
I wish we were on tape right now. I can't wait to do the actual podcast. This dress rehearsal is going really well.
Can we do a clip of that music at some point? Like, right?
Absolutely.
But, sorry.
So was Beetlejuice the first movie, Brenda, that you saw in the theater?
No. Hairspray was.
Oh, Hairspray was.
Yes, if we were not trying to interrupt me at the beginning of the episode, we would have heard that.
This isn't
getting a
about
phone
this.
call.
Jesus, calm down, Jodie Foster. Calm down. I know the first movie I saw in the theater was Batman.
Oh, really?
With a Danny Elfman score.
Did he do the first score?
Yeah, he did the first one. Batman, 1989 was the first movie I saw in the movie theater.
Don't
insert
the clip. Don't insert it.
I think I can remember which first foreign film I saw in theaters. It was Cyrano de Bergerac.
With Gerard Depardieu.
Yes.
Oh, wow.
I can't remember. You know what's funny? I used to say, and you guys, this is a fun game. The first movie you see with your aunt. The first movie you see on a date, wherever that relationship goes, that is the theme. So there's one guy I dated, the first movie we saw was The Ring, and we went round and round for years. One guy I went on a date with, and we went out for a couple of years, and it was Queen of the Damned. So maybe all mine are doomed. And then I can't remember with my...
When you said The Ring, I thought you were going to say something completely different.
No, I don't do that, Brenda.
My first date with my boyfriend was Kick-Ass.
Oh, that's sweet! If he was only here to get that affection. That's a good... What about in your last relationship? What was your first movie? Or your new one?
I don't remember.
One of them was Catch Me If You Can.
Ooh. Yours are all very telling.
Jordan, was it a at-home movie?
It was an at-home. I don't think we got through it. No, I don't remember.
Grace and Monica? Rabbit Hole?
I think the first movie we saw together was Star Trek. Which
it's
is
Place Where No Man Has Gone Before.
This is a recent thing. But,
You're thinking really deep into this.
I really agree with it.
Yeah. Yeah, it was Star Trek was the first one we saw together.
What if this is Kurt? I once dated a girl and her first movie was Michael.
The John Travolta movie?
Where he's an angel. Do
Okay.
that.
So you're a sloppy, overweight angel. You meet a beautiful, curly-haired blonde, and you're dead.
Okay. Sorry, just want to see if that was a superpower.
I read into that. Yeah.
I want to continue this game, but no.
But no, let's not.
That's
We'll
just
do
a
it.
fun
We'll do it
game.
on the Facebook page.
Okay, cool.
I know that we opened.
Our listeners are going to post a movie, and you're going to read them based on that movie.
Do it.
I will read
Do it. Post the first movie, listeners. The 3 that are left. Pay attention. 2 of them are in this room. The other
One of them's in this room.
We got one in Kansas.
One in Kansas. Listen, Kansas. Go to Facebook and put the first movie that you saw in a relationship, and Curtis will read you.
Curtis will tell you how your relationship's going to be.
He will predict the future of your relationship.
Can we charge
God, what if
$3.99?
it was Black Swan?
Oh.
Your boyfriend's black.
Oh, that's racist.
Oh, okay.
I know that we opened the show with The Neverending Story, which is one of my favorite movies. It was the first movie that I remember seeing as a child that I just watched, like, mesmerized.
And it's the subtitle for this episode.
And it is the Neverending
I
Podcast.
almost feel like you picked it so you could like slide in that that Third Reich joke.
Hey, we're not sliding anything in.
All of my
That was this weekend.
You know what? I waited
sorry.
to
Just wait.
mention Germans.
I'm
I don't think
sorry.
I've done it.
I waited 2 whole seconds.
2 whole seconds.
Enough.
You've waited 70
Another
years.
movie that I saw as a child, which I really enjoyed, was Rocket Gibraltar.
I saw that you put that.
And it's a crappy movie.
It is.
But as a child, you don't sometimes notice that the movies are crappy. And something about that movie, I saw it 100 times as a kid. My grandparents had it on VHS at their house. And I would just pop it in every time I was over there and watch it. It's Macaulay Culkin's first film. He's like 4 or 5 in it. But other people, Patricia Clarkson's in it, Susie Amos, Sinead Cusack, Kevin Spacey, Frances O'Connor, the one from 6 Feet Under, and
Frances Conroy?
Frances Conroy's in it.
Maybe I need to watch it again.
And Burt Lancaster. And it's about the relationship between this young boy and his grandfather, and it's a beautiful film.
It's a little sentimental for you.
It's a really sentimental film. It's the last sentimental film I ever watched.
Probably. Last time you cried.
I was like, this isn't about the Holocaust. And then
you said a rocket.
I wanted to watch a comedy. Let's watch Sophie's Choice. So then, but the other movie that really, and that really, when I think of my childhood and just like profound experiences, was Braveheart, which is a really good movie. It's one of my favorite movies. But the reason I wanted to do this, because we do have, I think, strong emotional ties to the movies that we watch, is the very last movie I ever watched with my father. And it was the same year that I came out of the closet. And the conversation that we had about Braveheart was the very last conversation I ever had with my father that wasn't a fight. And this is when I was 15. And right after that, I came out of the closet and we didn't speak for 3 years. And I remember standing in our front yard after we watched it, just standing there talking about morality and life and love and history and just really connecting as people. And then that's the last positive memory I have of him. And one of the things that I've always remembered throughout my life is that movies are things, and I think the reason that movies are universally loved all over the world is because they really do bring people together. And everyone mentioned seeing movies with their families and seeing movies that connected them to the people around them. And movies, we talk about movies, and a lot of times on this podcast we talk about how movies suck and how people are horrible and this was terrible. But movies really, I feel, are one of the few places where everyone can really relate to the same thing at the same time. And those universal themes carry through love and loss and regret and all of those things. And so every time I watch Braveheart, which I watch it all the time, it's a good memory for me, although bittersweet. And it's also just a really kick-ass movie. But that's one of the reasons I really love movies, and one of the things that I really, and you get that experience. We were talking about it on another podcast. I was talking about The Conjuring. When you're in a movie theater and you're in a room with 100 strangers, you're all laughing at the same things, you're all crying at the same things, you're all feeling the same things, and you're all from different places and have different experiences, but it's all those shared experiences. And I think the experience that you have in a movie theater with all of those strangers is probably the only place in the world where you can have those experiences with people that you don't know and share those times together. So that's why I really wanted to do this topic. So I really thank everyone for sharing.
Just like Jaws, you don't expect Jordan's soul to come up.
No. And it will go away again for another 14 hours.
We're going to need a bigger boat.
Thank you, guys. This has been Movies, the podcast. This has been Jordan.
Curtis.
This is Rob.
This is Brenda.
This is Dan.
Bye, guys.
I'm dying in your beds many years from now. Would you be willing to trade all the days from this day to that for one chance, just one chance, to come back here and tell our enemies that they may take our lives, but they'll never take our freedom?